It's crazy, but it's true. You're all I need.
Hey, how's it going, fam? Welcome to another adventure with Peggy and the Don, but this time it's just me. It's just the Don. I need to make a run this morning. I hate getting Peggy up so early, but y'all know we're getting ready to go out to the woods to take our survival bag, our bug out bags on a little walk, or basically a little test run. Supposed to get out there, set up a little improvised shelter, try to cook some food, start a fire, that kind of stuff. And hopefully by doing all that, we have an idea of what is unnecessary and what we should be adding. That way we can just be prepared in case we actually do need to use our bag. So I was fall back on my military training. I started remembering something we used to do. We used to do something called a layout. This is a military talk. But before we go to on a field exercise, we have all the soldiers come in and lay down their poncho liner and laid out all the equipment that we told them to bring. I was a platoon sergeant. It was my responsibility to make sure that all my soldiers, between 30 and 40 soldiers, I had to make sure that all of them had all the supplies they would need for field exercises. Me and the other platoon sergeants in the first sergeant would get together to determine what everybody needed, and we will send out a packing list. And the soldier would have to bring in everything on the packing list and lay it out. And everything will be laid out exactly the same. So top left-hand corner will be the will be the canteen. Right below that would be the canteen cup. To the right of that would be the canteen cover. Then it'd be the entrenching tool, 4 pairs of socks, 5 t-shirts. On down the line, everybody had to have the exact same stuff. Now, that might sound like micromanagement and stuff, but if you didn't do it, I promise, I don't know what they call that little rule, but if you don't do it, Murphy's Law. But if you don't do it, I guarantee you're going to have a soldier who's called for some sort of duty or detail, and they're not going to have something that they need. And then the first sergeant, the sergeant major, and the commander are going to be looking at you and like, why didn't you verify that your soldier had everything they needed? So I said all that to say this. So I decided to do a little layout this morning and realized that I was short a couple of things. For some reason, we had taken the first aid kit out of our bug out bag and it wasn't in there anymore. And we didn't even have a tarp for an improvised shelter. Now, we had trash bags and stuff like that, but I wanted a tarp with some grommets on it. They're not that expensive and don't take up a lot of space. So I wanted to make sure that Peggy and I both have tarps in our survival bag. So that's what I'm heading out for this morning. When I come back, I'm going to do a full layout. I'm going to take a picture of the layout, and then I'm going to write up a little packing list. And that way, in future inventories, I can make sure that we have everything we need. I might even have Peggy's do a little inventory layout and say, all right, Peggy, bag inspection, lay everything out according to the packing list. Nah, she's not going to go for it. I'm in charge of the bag, so I'll just have to make sure all the bags are good. So I'm going to go on over to I guess I'm going to go to Walmart or Bass Pro Shops. Bass Pro Shops are open till 9 o'clock. So since it's a little early, I'm probably go to Walmart first and see if I can find what I need. And then I'll come back and do the layout. And I'll share with you guys what the packing list looks like and everything. So this is basically a part 1 because tomorrow or in the next video, we should be heading out to the woods to test out our survival bag, our bug out bag, and see what we're short and see what we don't need. All right, fam, time to head out. So my first stop was Walmart, and right when I got to the camping section, they had a huge assortment of tarps. Heavy duty, medium duty, large sizes, smaller sizes. So I was pretty happy with that. I decided to get this little 8 by 10 foot medium duty. It was good size and had the grommets that I need. I like to have a little test piece on the outside so you can see what it feels like. This works out for me, and it only costs less than $7. So the first thing I did when I got home was to put the tarps, about 2 tarps, one for me and Peggy, put the tarps in the bag to make sure they fit. And they did. They both fit. So I think I made the right choice for the size and heavy duty strength of the tarps. It didn't interfere with our bag portability. So now it's time to go ahead and take everything out and try to create a little layout based on categories. So the first category and most important category is the shelter. So those items would be at the top of the bag. Next, I have the food and water section, including ways of collecting water and preparing the food. Then I have the fire and light section, ways of starting fire and getting lights. And we also have the hygiene and comfort section. Hygiene is important. That's not something that should be ignored. So specifically on the shelter section, I have these zip ties, and I have some stakes, some metal stakes I'm gonna use to set my shelter up. Of course, I gotta have the 550 cord. This is like a soldier's must to have in every bag. I also got a decent poncho here that I'm gonna use just in case of inclement weather. Got a decent one. I got two emergency ponchos also, just in case, just as backup. Moving on to the food section, I have a little package of food up here. It's got some granola bars and some light sauce where you don't require any cooking. And I also have some tuna here in the back and some Nord sides and stuff. I got my folding stove, it's my personal favorite, and I gotta make sure I have a can of Sterno heat. I think I'll be using this folding stove doing our little bag test tomorrow. Got a pot used to prepare if I'm gonna cook the pasta sides in. I'll be using this stainless steel pot. It's good to have a lid to try to keep all the extra insects and any wood from falling out of trees into your food. Got a few bottles of water, got some utensils here in a nice little plastic case. I have my water collection system that I displayed in a previous video. I try to put a link in the video about how I collect the water out of the river and purified it good enough to drink. I got my Sawyer water bottle, which gives me that final level of purification for water. I wouldn't want to drink water out there without it. Moving on, we have a few Kim lights, got about a handful of those. I got my headlamp so I'll be able to walk in the dark without having to hold a flashlight in my hand. That's important. Here's a dog horn. I'm going to put this in Peggy's bag. I'm not really worried about dogs so much. I got some cotton balls, some petroleum jelly, and a lighter. This is a nice little kit, very small, don't take up a lot of space, and I can use this to start a fire. Got a couple chairs here. Now, chairs might be considered a comfort item, but if you have been on your feet a long period of time or had to walk a long distance to get to your site, you're going to need a place to be able to rest and recover. Recovery is going to be extremely important. We wanted chairs that were small enough to fit in our bag but could still hold the weight. I'm a 265 pound plus guy. We got some toilet paper here. We got some wipes because hygiene, like I said earlier, is very, very important. We have the crank radio flashlight, which is I bring it up every time I show my bag. I really love this thing. Only costs about $15 if you can still find them. It gives me power for my cell phone, some lights, and be able to use the radio to hear what's going on out there. And nobody goes to the field or the woods without duct tape. You're not prepared if you don't have enough duct tape. So that's basically what I have in my bag. Let's move on to Peggy's bag. Now here's Peggy's bag. Peggy's bag is a lot lighter. It's about 30% lighter than my bag, but she still has to be able to carry some stuff too. So we can go ahead and just pull the items out of here and do a layout. Now, like I said, she also has a tarp, but I'm not gonna lay that tarp out because that tarp was giving me all kind of heck trying to put it back in the bag. So we're just gonna go ahead and leave the tarp folded, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a layout for Peggy's bag. Just like mine, Peggy has the shelter items over there on the first part. Then we move over to the food and water. I gotta add some water bottles to hers. Peggy also has some first aid items that's gonna help us take care of ourselves. She has a few more comfort and hygiene items than I have, and she also has the comms and protection. Okay, so starting with Peggy's shelter equipment, she has an entrenching tool that helps set up the campsite. And we also have this hatchet multi-tool we got from Amazon. We have this emergency tent made by a company called Don't Die in the Woods, but we're probably not going to use that. We have 2 emergency Mylar sleeping bags, also probably not going to be used, but we're going to take it out there anyway. We have 2 ponchos here. They're very nice ponchos. Peggy has some first aid items. This is a CPR assist mouthpiece to help her with CPR, get a good seal. She also has the first aid kit and the Bactine. This Bactine is going to be pretty important because if you're walking through the woods for a long enough period of time, you're going to get a lot of scratches. So make sure you bring that with you. Peggy also has this mossy oak, sort of an EDC type tin. There's a lot of good useful items in there that she covered in a previous bag video. She has the same food pouch that I have in my bag, minus the Vienna sausages. We have to find another meat source for her. In the comfort section, she has the toilet paper, of course, and she has these cool little slip-over shoe covers in case she doesn't have good shoes for walking through the woods. She has this urinal system for ladies. And she also has this pop-up foldable urinal system, porta-john type system. I guess we call it collapsible. So you just place the little bottom part in there. You can put the accordion style stand on and then put the ring on top. And it comes with 10 little garbage bags so you can use in order to collect your waste and not leave it out there. Everybody got to relieve themselves. So hopefully she can get some good use out of this little item. We have some radio equipment with some chargers. We'll be able to charge those up in the car. She also has some protection out. Here's some pepper spray that she wanted to have included in her bag. And we talked earlier about the emergency phone, which we can use to call 911. And Peggy decided to go ahead and get herself a little stun gun. Let me go ahead and test it out. Works pretty good. And it's rechargeable, so that's something that's going to be inside Peggy's bag for a while. We also have a bear spray. It doesn't go inside the bag. It's going to go in this little shoulder holster right here. Peggy has the large 10-ounce bag. I'm probably going to be carrying this out when we out there because I'll be the one who had to defend against the bears. Alright fam, so that's what's in our bag. We'll be heading out first thing in the morning to our site. We're going to be selecting a safe site that we can be secure and defend. Try to get a fire going, maybe cook a meal, set up an improvised shelter, and teach Peggy a couple knots. That's a lot of stuff, but at least we'll get an idea of what needs to be in our bag, what we can afford to take out. So I'm looking forward to it. That's going to really help us move on, get on the way to our possibility prepping, which is what this really is about. That's about all I have for today, guys. Just want to remind you guys to go out there and do something good for yourself and for others as well. Y'all take it easy, fam.
It's crazy, but it's true.